So at this time I'm going to be demonstrating how to paint the purple iris. I can give you a quick peek of what exactly the color is by just turning this way. You can see here, there's the image. I took this photograph from my table. Let's get this back here. All right, I'm going to start with a simple color. It's called Cobalt Violet. You can see it here in the center. I actually am using a butcher's tray with alizarin crimson, opera, magenta, Windsor violet, cobalt blue, just to name a few of the colors I might be engrossing here. Okay, just got my picture wet here. Let's dry it up. All right. I would have done this live, but you know, my thinking was that I wanted to be able to concentrate at the same time. I should do it this way. So we're going to put the cobalt violet at the base, because actually this is going into the place where the shadow is right now, even though it's not a shadow color, because we want the highlight to be on the upper edge. I'm going to take water and I'm going to soften that edge and bring it up to the top, just like that. Doesn't have to be perfectly smooth because the iris has a lot of texture to it. Let's go back to that same with the paintbrush now, where it's a little wet, and kind of increase the color a little further up, something like that. And then again, just with the second brush, I use the two brush system here. Address it that way. Pick a different spot, a little further away. Maybe down here. Right up to that edge. You may notice a double line here. That's because when I paint, often when I paint flowers, I consider the thickness of the petal. Petals have thickness to them, just like leaves. Here's the water I'm applying now to the edge. This certainly is going to get darker. So at the end of the painting, you'll have a pale line or a dark line, depending on the relevance of it, throughout here. I believe that it actually creates a sense of rhythm within your picture. Here too, a little of the cobalt violet. This is a foundation color, a base color. Other colors will come into play, most certainly. This is basically a dark, so we're going to put it against that edge there and pull it out to in the other direction. Clean your brush in between, just like this. And I'm going to use this process throughout the beginning of this flower. Here too, the shadow is below. This is the bottom side of this petal. But you can see how this already has dimension and also brightness. You know, for me the iris is a traditional thing. The original irises that I have in my garden came from my mother's garden, which is over 40 years ago. And I paint them every year, both as a homage to my mother, Denis Ponsot, as well as to see if I can do it again. You know, it's a very challenging flower in many ways. I consider it to be a very abstract flower. I'm loading my brush up again, by the way. And if you need to point up your brush, you've seen this in other, just roll the brush on something like this, you see, and you get a nice point out of it. All right, let's take it a little further up. Just some color here. So I have many varieties of the irises in my garden. The one I favor most is the one from my mom, which is this purple one. is very different in the studio as opposed to we're seeing it outside. Outside it seems even bluer. Has a very sort of bluish cast. Once you bring it inside, that kind of changes a little bit. So these kind of come together here a little bit. I'm going to pull the color up. See, I work fairly quickly. There's a bit of heat in the studio. There's a little bit warmer now. And I just have some fans going. Kind of move the air around a little bit. As the evening goes on, the studio, you know, the outside air is cooler, and so the studio becomes cooler. Here too. Looking at where the shadow is in the photograph in front of me. I also have the flowers here too as well. What the flower does for me on location, I'll show you that in a second perhaps, is tells me the colors. Because the photograph is great. I mean, you know, it certainly has gotten tremendous amounts of detail in it, things of that sort. But when you're actually looking at the flower, and then you really got something to work with, I should say. Coming around quickly. Let's see if we can give you a peek of the flower. It's right there. See? The white one is there as well. Beautiful. Let's come back here. I'm going to switch my brushes now. I was using a size 5 series 7. Now I'm going to use the size 7 series 7 because I have a larger area to work at. See if I can get one I like. This should be okay. This is, you can see the difference in the two. This is fine for the small petals. The larger petals here, I want to work with the 7. Make sure they're good and clean. If you're not sure about how clean your brush is, again, paper towel like this, the ferrule of the brush, just sort of roll the heel of the brush right here a little bit onto that paper towel and see if it gives off any color. This one is pretty good. It's not giving off much. See, it's pretty good. Let's try the other one. Again, get it wet, shake some of the excess. Whoop, look at that blue. The problem is, if you have blue like that, it's going to change that pale violet immediately. What I do sometimes, if I have a brush like that, it's, you know, I could spend 10 minutes doing this. I may use it just to pull the water instead of apply the color. Okay, let's get the cobalt violet on the brush and hit the bigger area. Let's see, just put this back in play. There we go. Sorry about that. There's a drop of water right here. See, I'm staying away from the pencil. And get that cobalt violet right in there. So it comes like this. Maybe I have some here as well. Then with water, right away. Just get the water on there right away. Soften it down. Follow along the edge and don't come here and here. Just go quickly. Quickly. I'm probably going to do a series of 10-minute videos. Maybe 15 minutes. As opposed to a long one where I really get into everything. I'll break this up into pieces. Again, I would have gone live with this, but I wanted to be able to concentrate on the picture as opposed to answering questions and things of that sort. There we go. This looks pretty good. And again, notice it's not perfectly even. That's fine at this stage. That's fine. Okay, I'm going to continue that here and down below, but for now this is the start. We'll get back to you later.